this. There we go. And I'll let you girls take over and chat about what you think, Amber, you need to know, and how Beth can help you, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay. Instagram, I don't even know. I guess, I mean, I just need to know, like, because I don't know, like, really, like, well, I mean, I post on there, and, like, I try to follow up with people that like it. And
you
like,
want to gain followers, don't you? That's what
yeah, like gain followers, and I guess, yeah, like expand my network to people that I don't know. And because I have people on there that I know that, you know, but I don't know how to expand it to people that I don't know. And this hashtag thing, like, do you use like hashtags that like don't even relate, that then like, I don't know, because like when you look up the most popular, like what do you do? Just like throw them into like your thing, and that looks silly because it has nothing to do with what you're posting, or I don't know if that even makes sense.
So a couple of things when it comes to social media and Instagram, and again, the more that we do this, and the more that our business keeps growing in this avenue, it's just figuring out how to refine our skill set here that's going to yield the biggest result, because it isn't just about posting stuff up and just, you know, I kind of joke, I think sometimes, you know, we sit back and we're like waiting for our inbox to fill up with everybody just wanting to beat down our doors for what we have. And it really is a way to increase connection, increase, you know, the people that you can connect with. And it's just, again, it's another reach out method to expand your network. And so a couple of things, you know, when you're looking at, you know, these are just some like easy, quick basics, but just like making sure that when you're looking at, you know, your Instagram, first of all, make sure that's public. Is going to help increase your followers. And I know sometimes, so I'm a little wide, like what I put on Instagram is a little bit different than what I put on Facebook. I'll probably put more personal stuff on Facebook because my Facebook is private, because I have thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures of my children on there. But in Instagram, it's really more, I use Instagram really more business. And so I make sure it's public, but I also sit and, you know, figure out what my brand is and what I'm going to put out there. And if it's not in line with my brand, it just doesn't get posted on Instagram. So my brand is more, it isn't just Arbonne. It isn't just being a wife and a mom. It isn't just healthy living. It isn't, I mean, just Haiti. It's my faith. It's kind of like 5 or 6 things that kind of commingle. Like if somebody were to look at my Instagram, they would look at my Instagram and say, I have a pretty good idea of who this chick is. And so, you know, just, you know, making sure that's consistent. First and foremost. Second thing is consistency. A lot of it is really truly posting on a consistent basis, and that's putting up something. And you don't have to put up a post. So there's a difference between posts and stories. Sorry, my phone is about to die. It's noon. The phone is about to die. Clearly, we've been having a busy morning. But you know, you don't necessarily need to post every day, but you need to put up stories every single day. And I know there's a lot of people that put up 2 and 3 posts, and sometimes it depends on what's going on in my life. I'll put up posts are that permanent thing that stays out there, that's capturing your brand. Your story is kind of like what's going on with you that day. So your story is kind of like your own reality TV channel for a little bit, like the description of what your story is. And that, honestly, you'll actually collect followers both ways. But the more stories you put up, the faster it's going to crank up your followers. Posts, yes, and I'll talk about hashtags in just a second, but stories are going to do that. And also too, because there's algorithms to everything. There's algorithms inside of Instagram as well. So when you're putting up stories, you're putting up consistent content, Instagram likes that. And so they're going to keep pushing you up. Like if you think about, like, for example, when you're scrolling through just your regular feed in Instagram, a lot of this is just like Facebook. And now that Facebook owns Instagram, a lot of these algorithms are going to start, you know, following the same as Facebook. But same with your stories. Like when you look at the bubbles across Instagram, you see the faces. Think about the same faces you see all the time. Some of it is people that you're viewing. So they want to put your favorite people in those first few bubbles a lot. So I see a lot of the same people a lot at the very beginning, but it's also too, when you have polls and questions and you're making your stories interactive, Instagram also likes that because they want to create interaction on social media. And so the more things you put up there with questions and polls, it's going to increase your followers. It's going to increase your exposure to the world when you're doing those kinds of things. So consistency is a really big thing putting up posts, polls and questions and ways that people can interact with you will also increase your followers, because the whole 9 yards is increasing your followers, but it's also, we can have tons of followers, but you want to increase interaction. And so this is where my kids, like, they crack me up. They have like a fraction of the followers that I have, but they put up a post and like 500 people will like it. So their audience is very interactive with them. Where they give me trouble. They're like, Mom, you've got almost 6,000 followers and like 200 people liked your post. Big deal. Like, I'm like, I'm proud of that 200 people. But it's creating and getting more engagement and more interaction. And the more stories you put up, the more interaction and more engagement you're going to get. But also too, just like anything else, just like on Facebook, social media, the more that you interact with other people, whether it's going through your feed and it isn't just liking. I mean, we can sit and like heart stuff all day long with our thumbs on Instagram, but it's commenting. The more you comment, the more engagement you're going to get and the more exposure that Instagram, because they see you also engaging. So it's a double part feed. So when I'm sitting on social media, I try really hard to comment on things as much as I possibly can, or react to people's stories as much as I possibly can, because Instagram sees me as somebody who's creating engagement, if that makes sense. So the more engagement that I create, the more they're gonna put me out there in more people's feeds as well. And again, it's one of those things, the more I touch people, the more people are gonna touch me. The more active that I am on social media, I know this sounds crazy, and I put like blocks of my time that I'm on social media, and then I get off of it because I can sit there and like lose days of my life. But is making sure I'm keeping myself super active, and I'm commenting and creating that engagement, because that's gonna be what helps get more engagement for me. So when I do that, it's funny, my posts that I put up, my likes go way up on the days that I do it. Like, so that means that more people are seeing and engaging with me versus the other way around. Now there's always stuff like that. Like there's always stuff that I put up that not many people like, but I'm still going to put it up. Like if I put up a picture of myself, I will get more likes. And if I put up a picture about Haiti, I'll get like 40 likes. I'm like, what the heck, man? This is, I want people to pay attention to Haiti too, but it's that engagement though as well. So the more you're engaging with other people on social media, the more exposure you're actually going to get. You're going to increase your followers, and increase people interacting also with you. But it's also too, the other thing is, and like you were saying, is working the backside of social media. And what I mean by that is the posts you put up. So all that energy that we spend putting up posts, and putting up stories. And I mean, I am the queen of like screenshotting other people's stories. That none of that matters. If you screenshot it, if it's not like Instagram isn't recognizing the same images over and over again. So I screenshot a lot of those. Like I put up one today that was talking about cosmetics, that I got from another guy on my team that I was like, this is super cute. It's talking about like the 7 deadly sins of cosmetics, whatever. And so I put that up today, screenshot it. But again, what I'm doing is I put it up in the morning. And what I mean by working the backside of social media is in the morning, I try to put up my social media to a degree for the day. Sometimes throughout the day, I'll add more stuff because life and stuff like that's going on. But for the most part, like what my message is. So like if it's an Arbonne message, if it's healthy living, if it's about my business or whatever, and I put up a stream of stories, I try to do that first thing in the morning because I want people to watch it all day long. And the earlier that I can get it up, the more viewers it's going to get. And so what I do is, let's just say, like, for example, the one I put up today was 8 images. And I put it up first thing this morning. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go back tonight and work the backside of social media. So everybody that viewed that story, I'm going to go to the very last one, because usually if they viewed the first one and they stuck with it to the last one, because there's other stories I put up behind it, I'm going to go to that last image, because that means on that last image, they've seen the other 7 before that. And so what I do is I go on to that image and I go down to who's viewed it. I swipe up and I see who's actually viewed it. And I just go through one person at a time. And I just click on their name and I just check if they're an Arbonne or if they're a weird creeper dude or whatever, I don't send them a message. And this is where I tell people all the time, like I get messages all the time. And I always like blows my mind. I'm like, y'all, can you just like be smart? Because you don't look real smart when you send me a message and I'm an executive national vice president with Arbonne. Like it takes half a second to take a look at my profile and realize this chick's an Arbonne. I might not have an Arbonne website on my homepage, but you can look for half a second. You're going to see Arbonne. And I'm like, you just don't look smart doing things like that. So check to see if they're an Arbonne. And if they aren't, and if they're not a weird dude, then I send them a message. And I don't give them a dissertation about Arbonne. I just thank them for watching my story. I just say, you know, hey girl, thanks for checking out my story. I hope you love my content. Would love to share more info. I love our cosmetics. Let me know either way. Have an awesome day, girl. It's just, and you can copy and paste that, but it's just a baby touch. There's messages that I've gotten from people that are literally this long. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to even read it all. Second of all, you didn't even take the time to even look to see if I'm an Arbonne, or even if I get it from another company. You know, there's this one gal that keeps trying to get me to get on her like 21-day virtual boot camp workout thing. I mean, she has messaged me and messaged me and messaged me and messaged me. And I finally was like, girl, I love your hustle. Like, I'm not interested right now, but like, you keep doing your thing. But you know, she's short and she's sweet and she just keeps touching. She keeps reaching back out again. But it's just sending that message, because here's the thing. So I put up a stream of stories at the beginning of this month talking about the mask. So one day I was putting on the detox mask and I was like looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, this mask is so crazy how it changes colors like this. And I was like, hold on a second. Let me do something with this. So I put up the mask changing colors and then it drying out and talked about what it did. And at the end of the day, I reached out to all the people that watched that story. And I had a couple of people message me, but I reached out to everybody that watched that story. And because it was product driven, I sat and she said, you know, hey girl, thanks for viewing my story. I absolutely love this mask. I love what it does to my skin. I would love to get it in your hands and let you try it. For $30, I can ship it to your door. Would you like to try it? I sold literally that day 11 masks and it was $500 in volume. But I had to work the back side of it. So it wasn't just putting up the mask and these pictures of me in this mask and sitting and saying, what's going to happen? You know, somebody going to email me and want it. No, like I literally worked the backside and I just gave them a deal, which was basically like a little bit, I'm still made a couple bucks off of it, but I'm not worried about that. I want Arbonne in people's hands, because the more Arbonne that they're using, the more they're going to come back and get more from me. And plus it was still $500 in volume that I collected in a day off a post off of social media, but it was working that backside and reaching out. And I just said, you know, I just made it nice and easy. And I said, just give me your address. And if you want to Venmo me, this is my Venmo. And they just literally sent me the cash. And I ordered 11 masks on one order and shipped them here to me. And I actually just dropped them off this morning. I should have taken a picture of that. I actually just sat and dropped them off right before my lunch appointment this morning, all of them to get shipped out. And so it's working that backside of it, things you put up on product, working the backside of that, and figuring out what the deal is. Like today, I put the one up of the makeup. And so tonight I'm going to sit and, you know, everybody that viewed that story today, I'm going to send them a message. And I just say, you know, look, I would love to personalize some cosmetics for you, $150 shipped to your door. You know, let me know if you're interested. So I'm going to follow it with that. A few days ago, I put up about my hair because I hadn't showered and or I had showered, but not washed my hair. And I did. My hair was up in a messy bun, just like this. And I took it down. I was like, dang, doesn't look too bad. And so I put that up. And I literally sat and sold 5 sets of the True Hair, the shampoo, the conditioner. Actually, I sold 4 of just the shampoo and conditioner. And then I sold 2 more that had all 3. That's what it was. And so, but I was just like, I offered them a deal and all I did was just follow up. So just off of social media, and I don't know what I'm going to get off the makeup thing today, but like just off of social media this month, I've already done over $1,000 in volume off of 2 stories. But wow. I had to work the backside of that. And that's the part that people aren't doing and following up with. Not everybody. Now, keep granted. And some of this is like, it's 500 names. Like there's sometimes some of my stories get seen by 300 to 800 people. And so it's like my eyeballs get a little run down. But after a while, like I know the Arbonne people because I've clicked on them enough. I'm like, Arbonne, you know, and that's what we find, so that I'm skimming through. But I sat and like, for example, the mask one that I put out there, I probably sent 70 to 80 messages, but 11 to send. And it was copy and paste. Like once I realized where they were, it was copy and paste. It didn't even take me an hour's worth of work. It wasn't even that, maybe 30 minutes that I was sitting there, copy and paste, because like your brain just gets going on it when you focus. But it's working that backside of that social media. Same with anything that you post. If somebody likes it, I look who liked my post. And are they an Arbonne? Are they a weird dude? You know, check. If not, I'm going to send them a message and just say, hey girl, thanks so much for liking my post. And depending on what it was, and a lot of times, like if it's like a post, like I put up the stairs of my house, We're building a house. And so I put up the stairs that we're building. Cause like I walked in the door and I was like, whoa, that looks pretty fancy. And so, but I got a ton of likes. Now, what am I going to message somebody about my stairs? Hey, you like my stairs? I can refer you to my stair guy. But I didn't. So what I did was anybody that I saw out there that liked it, especially because I got so many likes, is painting lifestyle. And I just, so I sent quick little messages, especially to people that, since so many people liked it, a lot of people liked it that don't like my other stuff. They might not like anything have to do with healthy living, might not like any of my posts that have to do with being a mom, but they liked my stairs. And so I just sat and I sent them a message that said, hey girl, thanks for liking my post. I never thought we would be in a position to build a house like this. Just so grateful for the lifestyle that I've been able to create through my business. I would love to share more info if you are open to it. Just let me know either way. Hope you have an awesome day, girl. And so I'm just lobbying it out there. I'm not doing this big sales pitchy thing. But it's just touching people. And sometimes it's kind of funny because
people respond back to those ones.
Not always. But the crazy thing is I actually, sometimes people start liking things a lot and I start watching kind of their patterns of what they're liking. So if they're liking a bunch of my lifestyle posts, I just would say, I'd love to share a little bit more info with you about what I do. So if I'm thinking about what are they liking, and sometimes I'll go and I'll click on them to send them another message and I see my last 2 messages before that. And I just say, so then I start kind of making a joke about things. I'm like, hey, it's your resident Arlon girl, just popping and saying, hey, thanks for liking my post again. I love that, you're keeping tabs on me, or I'll say something cute like, hi, I messaged you a couple of times, but and we always say, if you say anything with a little bit of extra sugar and a smile on your face, you can get away with saying just about anything. And so just be kind of funny and put lots of emojis and whatever in it. But I do have people, absolutely. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me about the business that I'm actually either launching or whatever. And they're watching me on social media. They're like, wow, like they might've done Arbonne years ago. They're like, I would never have thought like to look at where your life is today, but also on top of that, just that I could build this business this way. Think about it. There's so many people that years ago, built this business with me, the traditional, doing group in-person events, which I 1000% always still love. Had one last night. The thing is, it's just another reach out. It's another way for people who are just not going to do that. Like they're not. Busy life, whatever season of life they're going in. It's just another way that they can actually do something with this, and build using this as well. But it's also connecting with them and painting that picture with them. So I do have people that do respond to things that I put up, especially when I'm talking, or they'll hop on one of my Discover Zooms. I do them every single Wednesday night for my organization. And so like, I'm like, hey, I'm doing this thing tomorrow night. Why don't you just pop on, or, hey, when can we just sit and kind of, just chat? I'd love to share a little bit more with you. Because the more that I can connect with them face to face like this is why Zoom is so powerful and video is so powerful, because more we can connect face to face, we'll tell the better story. The other thing too, that I'll share a little bit about too, is, just starting some of those organic conversations. And this is where hashtags are so crazy important. And what I have learned, and how I work hashtags is kind of crazy. So there's hashtags are just as important to be consistent as anything else. And I have hashtags broken up into kind of multiple chunks. So I have hashtags that I use for healthy living. I have hashtags that I use that are like inspirational, personal growth kind of things that I put up. And then I have different hashtags for, for Arbonne and stuff like that, or being a boss or being my own boss, like whatever. So I have different hashtags for different things that mean different things. But one of the things that I learned recently was you don't want to hashtag something that has like 5 million hashtags, because the whole point of hashtags is to reach out to more people, because people follow hashtags. So like, for example, I follow the hashtag hustle, and there's oodles of stuff all day long in my feed on hustle. But if you sit in hashtag hustle, think about it. You're reaching millions of people that might be also following hustle, but they're also getting oodles of stuff. So your content's going to get lost in their feed. But if you put hustling mom, or something like that, like you just shrunk down like that, the amount of people that have hashtagged hustling mom. But for people who follow hustling mom, you're going to show up more consistently and better in their feed. And so one of the things that I learned recently is that you want to have hashtags that aren't so broad that your content's going to be lost in other people's feeds that are following that same hashtag. So you're going to want to, you know, hone it down. So for example, one of the things that so I live in Huntersville, which is north of Charlotte. So I might hashtag Charlotte moms. I might hashtag Charlotte healthy living. I might hashtag Huntersville healthy living. So I'm getting people who are following something that's more local sitting in my backyard. They're seeing me hashtag it, and it's going to create people following me that I actually have the potential to go meet for coffee that are actually local. So the more specific that you can get with hashtags, the better, but also using the same hashtags consistently. So create them. And Instagram, you can have up to 30. So you want to have 30. Create them in the notes section of your phone. Like brainstorm.
You do the full 30 every time?
Do the what?
You do the full 30 every time?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Because I want to capture as many people, but I keep it consistent. So people who are, say, following Hustling Mom, if they see me every time I'm putting something up, talking maybe about my business or something like that, they see my content. They're going to see me consistently putting it out there. And so they're going to keep seeing me. Then all of a sudden, it's just like anything. Like how many times do we feel like we know people on social media, right? And we're sitting there like, oh my gosh, I know that. And then like, you've never met them before in your life. You're like, but I know her, you know? The same is true in this case. Hashtags give you that connection with people that you would have never had connection to, but only because they're watching on social media do they actually think that they know you. But they only get to know you if they see your material and what you're posting up consistently. So the more consistent that you can keep your hashtags, the better, because they're going to start consistently seeing you on the other end, and you're going to increase. People are like, oh, I want to follow that girl. Oh, I like her content. I've seen her post up a couple of things. I want to follow her, and things like that.
So like in your story, like how do people because I just read, so do you use hashtags in your story too?
Sometimes, yep.
Because I was reading that it said to do that, but I don't know, so how do people follow your story but never seen your page, if that makes sense? Because they said there's a story bank or something. I don't know. You're saying post in your story all the time because you'll get more followers. How do people find your story without those hashtags, if that makes sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but I know what I'm trying to think.
I'll have to click on that to figure out exactly what that looks like specifically. But I know that I'll have to click on that so that I can answer you exactly how that works.
Okay.
But I know just keeping those hashtags, truly keeping them consistent, but also too, I follow, for example, I'm just determined to build team in Atlanta. There's so much opportunity in Atlanta. And so I follow Atlanta vegans, Atlanta moms, all these little different Midtown moms, Midtown Atlanta moms, all these different Atlanta hashtags. So then I can sit and start a conversation. So when I see somebody from maybe, an Atlanta mom, or, this chef that put up a recipe, Atlanta vegans, this chef put up a recipe. I was like, oh my gosh, I need that recipe. I'm doing a detox dinner. I'd love to share that. She's like, oh, a detox dinner. What is that? I'm like, oh, having some gals over. And I actually had this gal who's a chef at a restaurant come over to a detox dinner that I did on a Monday night in Atlanta to check out how I made her meal. And I was like, all right. But it was an organic conversation. Then she's like, oh my gosh, well, what's Arbonne all about? And she bought the 30-day program. It was a very organic conversation because I was interested in her content because I followed that hashtag. So it's a great way to also, for me, it's expanding into Atlanta and meeting more people and connecting with more people in Atlanta. So when I go to Atlanta and I do these little detox centers, I have these people to invite to them that I've never met before in my life. And so there's the power of following certain hashtags. Follow the ones that are going to lead you to more people where you want to be led to.
Okay.
For me, where I'm following these Atlanta hashtags, but also hashtag to draw more people to you. And you can put your hashtags in your comments. You don't have to put it in the actual words of the verbiage of when you type in the verbiage underneath your actual picture that you're putting up on your post. You can actually put it in your comments. And I usually put it in my comments so that it doesn't fill up all my word amount for my post.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter either way. Instagram doesn't you can do it either way.
Okay.
I know that Carlita's probably getting ready to do her healthy living.
I know, I see everything.
I know. I think everybody's having on like, we're talking hashtags. I'm not here for hashtags. I'm here to learn about how to get healthy. So hopefully this helps, Amber.
It does help a lot. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we'll pop off of here and just text me. You've got my number if you have any other questions. And I'm going to look up that one thing that you asked me so I can answer you better.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, we were just doing a quick Instagram call, so we will do the healthy living now. And Amber, you're welcome to stay on if you want, but I'm going to stop.
I'm going to.
Okay, I'm going to stop this recording real quick. Hold on.